Okay, hello everyone, and welcome to Parkitect. I don't think I've shown this game before on the channel, but essentially, this is a theme park building game. You have these little people called peeps. They come into your park, and you've got various pre-built rides and sort of shop stands, as well as customizable roller coasters and whatnot. That you can use to build a theme park. However, today I'm not going to be showing a theme park that I've done, but rather some things that I've built in Parkitect, and that's going to be, from the name of the title, as you might have guessed, some Call of Duty things. Because you know what better things to do other than build what the game is not meant to have built in a game. So what we've got here is we have got 2 zombies maps, as well as some perk machines, which I'll show over here by the Temple of the Sun, which I also made. So yeah, Temple of the Sun exists, but we're not going to be focusing on that. Instead, we're going to be looking at some perks later, as well as the first 2 zombies maps in existence. We've got Nacht Untoten, and we have got Verrückt. Verrückt is one of the most challenging things I've had to build in this game yet, but it's nothing in comparison to what I'm working on, which I will show at the end of the video. But yeah, so we'll be looking at the first 2 maps from Call of Duty Zombies, from World at War. We'll start off looking at Nacht, because that is, you know, the first map in existence, so we might as well start there, and then we'll move on to Verrückt. And this is what they look like on the outside. I will be making use of a mod called Peep Cam, which allows you to take control of one of these little peeps, or at least set your camera to their eye level, so that we can walk around. And as you can kind of see from inside of them, they are fully interiored. So we have actually got interiors going on here. So yeah, that's what we're going to be looking at here. So let me close those, and let's get into a peep. We'll just choose a random guy, it doesn't particularly matter, he'll obviously keep walking on as we've taken over his mind. But yeah, so here is what Nacht looks like on the outside. Now, the game the developers didn't intend for you to be at this flat land, you know, at peep scale, which means that things don't tend to match up correctly, because you're meant to be looking at it from a more isometric viewing angle. So yeah, not all of these things will look brilliant. However, they work well enough for what you need them to. So here's the outside of Nacht from the perspective of a peep. We've got all of the bits that you need. You know, the outside windows to get in as a zombie. We've also got the outside stairs as well, which leads you up to these two upstairs windows. All the lights that you see, by the way, they do light up. They do work, and they are also in the correct law. The correct law-abiding placement, as they are in the actual map. So, you know, obviously we've got the outside window there, and we also have, you know, the back window and everything. So we'll start by going in from down here. So peeps can enter via here. They can actually walk through this, as far as I'm aware. As you saw, there are people upstairs, so they are able to enter and exit as they wish. I think this wall shouldn't be missing. That should be an actual solid wall. But yeah, there you go. Somebody just walked out. There you go. Is this person going to walk out? No, they're not. Peep cam kind of is a bit funny with walls, so we'll just sort of walk in through this way. But, you know, if we were an actual peep, you can easily get in that way, so it is accessible. Decorative stuff. This is the starting room, obviously, so we've got the 6 pillars going on, 6 concrete pillars. We also have this rack of stuff, which is just using scaffolding. We also have a couple of decorative crates there. We also have the rock pile that's underneath the stairs, the debris pile. The stairs, obviously, here leads to upstairs. We've got the hole in the roof in this latter half of the starting area, with some debris piles down here, and also some of the classic boxes. Obviously, like I showed, the windows leading outside, and here's where Mule Kick would be if we were playing in Black Ops 1 onwards, but we're not. This is the original World at War Nacht, so no Mule Kick for you, but if you really do want it, I will show you Mule Kick later, and you can just add it in manually. If we head through the power door, as I I call it. Through to the box. Here is the box. Unfortunately, we can't have the box diagonal, and there's no custom box model, so this chest is the best we can get. But you know, here's the chest. We also have got some boxes here. There's the lighting, as I said. Here's where obviously there would be the tunnel leading through to the wall barrier, which I can't do here, but you know, that's where it would be. Some more scaffolding decorative bits here and here. Thompson and sawed-off shotgun obviously on the wall in those two areas, as well as this bank window for you to do your training around, because well, you have got the pillars in their correct placements as well. These things won't quite be, these maps rather, won't quite be a one-to-one scale because of how Parkitect works and my own personal skill level. So yeah, these things won't be necessarily a one-to-one recreation, as you can kind of see from the stairway here, which Peeps can go up, but Peep Cam doesn't quite like it, so we will have to go up the alternate exit, which means we will have to go through the debris that's normally here that you would otherwise want to normally keep closed if you were sitting here. But yeah, so here's the stairway up. Here's the spotlight that's normally shining in this back corner, towards this back corner rather, so there it is. As we move further down here, you've got the fire going on here. Fire debris. Here is the cabinet with the sniper rifle, the scoped K98, and there's also this weird dividing wall section that I've managed to build up here in the middle of the walkway. And here's the sandbag wall debris, as well as a back window here to let the zombies get to you, I guess, because this is kind of partly covered. And then you also have this weird balcony area that sort of sits on the outside, which we can't walk on. But you know, that balcony area exists in the map, so it of course exists here as well. And if we just climb through the window like a zombie, we can get to here, which is the main open area here. Obviously, you'd have the grenades on the back wall here. You camp here with your ray gun and your light machine gun, and you high round it from here if you're choosing to camp. Sandbag wall is right here, and once again, because you're not meant to be viewing the game from this low of an angle, these things obviously don't stack up properly, but from an isometric perspective, as you would normally be playing, it works perfectly fine. Yeah, knockdown bit of wall here, and obviously this bit of railing here as well. So, as best as I could do, I've made this as faithful as possible. You also have this little piece of wall here which sits at this window. So, yeah, we got that going on. And let's follow this guy. Are they going to leave? Yeah, there you go. So as you can see, they phase right through it, absolutely no problem, and we can also exit this way out. But yeah, so that is Nukt Duntown. Yeah, it's quite a building. But it's nothing in comparison to Verrückt. Now, once again, Verrückt is one of those maps where, like, the bottom part of it is partially buried, and I don't want to build up some sort of prop fake mountain here. So, yeah, kind of, I've used some artistic, creative liberties on some of the areas that would be covered, such as here. I've just put some grass here, some of this dead grass, and there's also this brown dirt pathway around it. And once again, like, you know, this area here would be covered. So, you know, the windows and things aren't quite on the back here. But, you know, the rest of it has got, you know, we got the windows into the starting room right there. And right there as well on the other side. And to get in, Peeps can obviously walk around this because this is all dirt pathway. However, we've got the main walkway into the asylum here, which is coming underneath this balcony here. There's another balcony right there as well. There's also this set of stairs up for the zombies or the Peeps, which will lead them up here, which, you know, Peep Cam doesn't quite want to work with, and we can't jump because this game doesn't feature jumping. Why would Peeps need to jump? But yeah, so that's kind of like a walk around the outside. Zombies can get up into that window, obviously, and then we can walk straight into the asylum, as you can in the map at least. Even though this is outside of the playable area, it is based on one of the campaign missions, or an area in one of the campaign missions, which is also a multiplayer map in this game, because yeah, CoD used, well, at least World at War used well, for the first two maps, they use sections of existing maps to build their zombies maps. So yeah, this is the Asylum multiplayer map, I think it's called. But yeah, so here's the outside. That pillar's not painted. That's an issue. I need to fix that. But we've got the burning barrel. Here is what this is meant to represent. We have of course got the fountain right there. We've got the flag hanging off the side. Piles of bones. You've got various debris piles to just for some decoration on here. We've got this closed door, which doesn't actually lead to anything because, well, the map doesn't include anything under here, so why should I? That's just empty. We have well, we have a security guy being chased by a zombie. Lovely. So yeah, we've got the fountain in the middle, obviously. These underneath walkways here as well. And if we come over here, there's one of the pathways up for the zombies, which leads them upstairs to this room with the traps. You've got the electrical poles, which lead electricity from power, which is there behind that barricaded window, which would obviously lead it through to the rest of the asylum. And then here, this is just a spawn area, I think, for zombies to come out of, and also this is once again an empty door into a nothing room because well, nothing gets done under here. It's barred off. Same with this. This leads to nothing because in the actual map this leads underground. Behind here is a part of a hill, which leads up to the second floor because it is partially buried under here. So yeah, this actually just leads to nowhere. If you go into free cam, which is how I built these maps, I used free cam and God mode, and I sort of tabbed in and out and took screenshots for reference. But yeah, if you just free cam and you come under here and you follow it, you will find that it just exits. There's no backing texture or anything. It just sort of disappears. But yeah, so there's one of the walkways. Here's the other set of stairs. These caused a bit of a nightmare with me trying to sort out the layout of this and trying to get it all correctly proportional. But yeah, it does lead to one of these outside barriers here. Leading inside, there's one of the perk machines, which you'll get a closer look at later. A bit of a sneak peek there. But if we just enter through this window, yeah, there you go, works. We can enter the American side of the American starting room. So obviously here is the little side room, which has got the BAR, the bipod-mounted BAR on the wall, as well as this window leading through there. This is the crematorium part of it because you'd have or actually no, this is the morgue part of it rather, because you'd have the morgue right there. With all of the casket rollers out. Here's one of the windows, obviously for the zombies to get through. And then here is this weird little room which has got the Springfield in it, I think, or is the Springfield here? The Springfield might be here in the garage on the wall over here. But yeah, so this is the American starting room. And obviously you start with this quick revive. So here is quick revive on the wall. Not perfect, as you can see, the circle is floating, but it's the best I can kind of do with the limited palette of small scale blocks to make this at a peep scale, because as you can see, this is kind of how big Speed Cola is actually in the games. It's not Speed Cola, Quick Revive is, in comparison to the player in the actual games. So yeah, it is actually to peep scale, and we'll. Since we're here, actually, in the American starting room, we might as well follow the American pathway to power. So if we come through here, this is the... you've got this little window here, which, once again, leads to the BAR. I forgot that. Decorative bits and pieces here. Lighting. Once again, the lights are in the correct, law-accurate place. And... yeah, just more decoration. We've got some pillars right there. This doorway, which leads to nothing, obviously, because you can't get through it in the actual game. And here's the two windows for the zombies to get out of. There would be the wall barrier here, with the wall that the zombies can tear down. So that would be here on this this side. I forget where Mule Kick is in this map. It might be in this room. I'm not too sure. But you can get up these stairs, or at least peeps can get up these stairs if they really want to. Peep Cam doesn't like these stairs, so we'll have to go up via the zombie way. here, and then we'll just have to get through here. So obviously you can come up the stairs here, and you enter into this area, which has got this large back area, which is a lot larger than it should be, but once again the scaling is slightly off due to Parkitect and my own restrictions. But we do have some wheelchairs here, and this sort of storage area here, which I think zombies can get out of, can get in from rather. There's this black box here, which is because I just didn't want to, you know, sort of show anything back here. So yeah, oh, I accidentally fell. But yeah, that just leads into the that just leads into the roof section, which obviously you can't normally get into because it's bricked off and barricaded. Yeah, here's this burning debris pile which exists in the game, so that's illustrated here. Obviously peeps can kind of walk into it, but also kind of not. And once again, here's looking inside at the upper area there. So back here, once again, zombies can get in from here. I probably could have done with blocking this off, but it doesn't matter. It's just another zombie window coming through here. I'm quite pleased with how the bricking out of the windows worked. But yeah, so here is the, what is this, right side outside balcony area. These buttons are for the electric traps over the door. They're just modelled there with a couple of very tiny red blocks placed halfway into the wall, which actually sticks them out both sides, which is very handy. And obviously, once again, here is the barricade for the zombies coming up from the courtyard, so they can come in here. Here's the fenced off area. Actually, I think Mule Kick's here, isn't it? I seem to remember Mule Kick being in like this corner or something. But yeah, so you know, you can come up here, and then around they come to this area, which leads to the kitchen. We've got this wood area in here. That's a bit of a low light. I need to move that up. Whoops. But yeah, here's another barrier where zombies could get in from, and we've also got speed cola, which I'm very happy with this machine. It's very simple, but it's very effective and it works, and you can obviously tell that it's speed cola. It's speed cola machine right here on the wall for you, ready for you to you know, speed up your life. The kitchen, I'm quite happy with how the islands turned out in the middle. And then obviously here's another window for the zombies to get in from. But yeah, so you got the sort of kitchen area in the centre of the island, and then the upper sort of lighting rig, I think it is, that's over the top of it. But yeah, so this is this sort of section. You can kind of try and train zombies around it, I guess. And then a little decorative cabinet bit. You can obviously walk out here onto this barrier. All of these barriers are fenced off as they are in game, with the railing and then the sort of chicken wire fence going on there. And we enter power. So once again, there's the box right there. You've got the power just indicated by these two rotating gears. They're the best I could do for some sort of big elaborate power arrangement. And then you'd obviously have the power switch on the wall, which I haven't been able to model here, but you can go downstairs, and here is this black box for zombies to come from down here to get into the power room. And handily I can walk up there. So power's turned on. Good. We can now go through towards the German side. So here's this big long corridor stretch. You've got the STG on the wall, I think, here. And then yeah, this sort of separates it. Once again, this should really be further up, but then the sizing is slightly off here because I was trying to match up the two sides and it didn't quite work, but this is the best I can do. Debris piles obviously on the floor. There's the boxing and everything. Here's the toilets where you can flush, I think it's this toilet, like 3 times and play the Easter egg song. Here's the balcony for the zombies to get in from. Obviously the stairway up leads us in here. We can run all the way through here. Obviously look out here at zombies pouring in from outside, and then we get around the debris pile. We can get out here into this balcony area, which leads all the way down. Once again, trap boxes are on both of the doorways, and here is double tap, which I'm also very happy with this machine. Out of the original 4 perk machines, I think Quick Revive is the only one I'm not particularly happy with. However, you know, Speed Cola, double tap, Juggernaut, I like all of the machines that I've done for the original perks, and we'll see the other ones as well later on. So there's part of the collapsed wall that exists on this side. MP40s obviously here, I think, along with bouncing betties. Are bouncing betties on this side? I think they are. But yeah, MP40, double tap, collapsed wall, debris pile on the floor. Here's where the zombies can tear down this wall, which obviously, once again, is just a blank space behind it. You know, zombies in game would tear down that trap box, and then you can look over the courtyard via the chicken wire covering that. Very good. And then we've got the stairway down. Obviously collapsed wall here, which exists in the actual map, and that leads us down to the German side. If I just phase through this wall, there you go, we can get down. So yeah, here's this little cubby room here, where you've got the window for the zombies coming from here and from the courtyard in. And since we're facing it, here's Juggernog. Again, very simple perk machine. Perk machine design, but you can quite clearly tell it is Juggernog. So there's Jug, got a hinting of a sort of bookshelf right there in the back, and once again another window. Tons of windows here for the zombies to get out of. Here's the weird dentist chair thing that exists here with the screaming, and just some decorative boxes in here. Once again, correct actual lighting, and also the window through for the zombies. And that is verrückt, because we're now back here to the dividing room, or to the power dividing door, and back to the American side. So yeah, that is the entirety of verrückt here in Parkitect. As you can see, my mechanic is going around doing his thing. Okay, he phased through the wall. But yeah, so those are the two maps that I have completed out of the four maps in Zombies. As you saw, they are detailed inside. They do actually have things inside for people to look at, or for peeps to look at rather. And if you don't want that, you can always you know, delete the stuff that's inside, and you can always delete the stuff that's inside and put, I don't know, machines, or you know, vendors, or rides or something inside, just to make them more functional. But you know, I wanted them to be accurate to the Zombies map, so that's what I did. But yeah, so that is verrückt. Very expansive map, and yeah, and Nacht, which less expansive, but they are created as faithfully as I could possibly make them. Now we come to the perk machines, which I've got over here. As you can see, here is all of the machines that I have built rather, for your enjoyment. There's also this version of Nacht, which somebody in the Parkitect Discord suggested increasing its length by 1 to make it more accurate and less cramped in this starting room. So I may eventually fix that. And over here we have got the startings of Shino Numa, which I am struggling to do because I want this thatched roof to be around and not clipping into things. But yeah, that's an issue for another day, which also involves, you know, how to do the swamps and all of that, and all of the outside buildings, and it's all a bit of a mess. So Shino Numa is on hold for now, and we'll get to this in a moment. But I'm sure if you can tell, I've done three of the World at War maps. You can probably tell what the hell that is. But before we get to that properly, I am going to show you the perk machines. If we take another little peep over here, and we run them all the way over here, all the way to the perk machines, run, we can look at the row that is this. So, initial 4 perk machines, obviously still here: Juggernog, Speed Cola, Double Tap, and Quick Revive, which I have improved by adding a little pole at the back here, just to keep up the little sign. Once again, not perfect, probably the worst of the perk machines I've built here, but at this scale, it's pretty small, and pretty difficult to find props that actually work and aren't too obtrusive and whatnot, and especially ones that are at a diagonal like that. So yeah, bit tricky with quick revive. However, the rest of these perk machines came out pretty well in my opinion. We've got stamina up, which is slightly taller than it should be, I think, but it's kind of a modification of double tap. But yeah, we got the circular stamina up logo. We've got here where you'd see the perk bottles, I'm pretty sure, and it's in the stamina up yellow. Mule kick is right here because yeah, I was going through these in order of appearance, I think, or something along those lines. Actually, no, I can't have been because down there is dead shot. But here's Mule Kick, which I'm very happy with how Mule Kick came out, especially with the front red bit here, which is where you'd put the money in, as well as the outside decoration bits. I'm very happy with that, and also how the roundings turned out on top. So yeah, very happy with how Mule Kick turned out. PhD I'm pretty happy with, except for the top display, which unfortunately is a bit too difficult to do at this scale in Parkitect with the stuff that we have in vanilla Parkitect. But the actual main body of the machine, the actual shape of it and the colourful bits of it, I'm very happy with how that's all turned out. So yeah, PhD for all of your explosive related needs. Tombstone Soda, once again using Mule Kick as a base. I think I just took that and repainted it and got rid of these side flanges that appear out the bottom, and I just repainted it mostly. So it's basically the same as Mule Kick, except yeah, I've just also swapped this side around. But yeah, so not too much had to be done to get Tombstone working. Very happy with that. I'm also surprisingly happy with Who's Who, which yeah, could be slightly better. However, general shaping wise, especially with the life ring that goes around it, I'm very happy with how this is looking. Also with the use of a ball as the little person's head. Unfortunately not glass. It's not opaque. Or transparent, I should say, translucent. But you know, it's the best I could do, and you know, I'm still pretty happy with how Who's turned out. Dead Shot was proving a bit tricky until I came upon this solution, which involves using a half sphere and one of these circles that I've been using for, you know, double tap or stamina up, which isn't exactly perfect because it's meant to be a semicircle, but no semicircles were lining up with the actual daiquiri glass. However, you know, for the rest of it, it's all working pretty well. You know, Deadshot, pretty nice, as you can see. Also at peep scale, all of these things. And the most recent one that I did, which may be the last one for a while, is Vulture Raid, which again, relatively tricky to try and do, especially with the sort of vulture beak that comes down towards the center of the perk machine. But you know, I think this has come out pretty well as well, especially with the Vulture Raid logo right here. You know, sort of very Parkitect minimalist design, but you know, yeah, I think it's worked out pretty well, all things considering, and especially at peep scale as well, to be put around the park as needed. And they do exist here on the workshop. If I search up something like, you know, Vulture Raid, there you go. They all exist on the workshop if you want to download them yourself. Same as Verrucht, same as Nacht. Those both exist on the workshop as well. So finally we come to the thing that I've been taunting you with, which is Derice. Derice is proving to be pretty tricky. It's definitely not perfect, especially this room. You know, getting the actual layout down was relatively straightforward. However, the teleporters are going to be a big issue with how I make them and how I figure that out. The background decorative buildings, I want to get some of them in at least, but yeah, they're going to be a bit tricky. Same here, as you can see with the, you know, this is meant to be a slope, and yeah, the slope kind of doesn't exist. Same with down here as well. It's kind of a big mess trying to get Derice to work here. However, you know, this power room, with one of the teleporters, I'm pretty happy with how this has turned out, especially with the furnace going on down there. You know, once again, need to figure out how to do the teleporters. But you know, otherwise most of the rest of it is worked out fine. You know, this room is an entire mess. Like I said, it's far too big, far too stretched. Yeah, it's far out of proportion. I mean, in comparison to where this guard tower is with the clock, you know, that's where the doorway in for the zombies is meant to be, the window in for the zombies. However, with how all of this has worked out, especially with this room right here, the vehicle workshop room, the way that this has worked out means that the doorway's here, when really the doorway should be like here, and therefore the zombies should be here. So yeah, it's all kind of a big mess. I'm going to have to mask that off with walls like I have been here. But yeah, it's kind of annoying. You can see quick revives down there. Handily, there was this clock. This clock exists in vanilla, which is very handy. I've been kind of working on the alleyway where Juggernog is, which, as you can see, is going on here. That's where these things are existing. These like apartment building type things, factory buildings on the side, and then yeah, here's leading to where the final teleporter is, which is leading through here. Is obviously power. We've got the trap and the mystery box right there, and then yeah, this leads out here, and then there's a wall around here, which then leads you back here to where the teleporter is, which once again I have to try and figure that out. Same with down here as well. You know, this which leads this little alleyway which leads down to where the one of the teleporters is, which is back here, which is a whole nother issue which I'm going to have to try and figure out how to do that with. Yeah, vehicle workshop comes through here. This is where the Thompson's on the wall right there. And if I hide, there you go. You can see under here we've got the burning furnace where you can throw the monkey bomb into for the Samantha Says Easter egg, I think. But yeah, teleporter linking pad is down there. This corridor is pretty much done, this sort of side walkway down here. Same with down and around here, and once again there's no sort of easily curved areas, easily curved sections which I can do annoyingly for that. But, you know, this is the state of Doris at the moment. If I get a peep here, why are you floating? Why are you like this? Strange. We'll take a screenshot of you, but anyway. Yeah, if I get a peep and I just walk us over there quickly, then you can see what Doris is looking like at the moment in its current form. It will not be done for a while. Definitely not for a while. But yeah. Here's Doris, here's the starting room, power room. Here's where the zombies can come from, this sort of weird corridor. Here's where you can walk down and get to the lower barricade there. I thought I was going to be stuck there, but no. Here's this sort of barricaded off ramp, which I think is meant to be some sort of like vehicle ramp, which leads you up here, but normally it's chained off and barricaded, so that's what's happening there. Here's obviously the other side of the starting room with the other end for the zombies. We can come up here, link the teleporter pad, boop boop, there it is. You can obviously walk off the side there, and walking around here, here's the side corridor. Once again, zombies come out of here. This sort of little shed area. Same with this shed area. I think zombies. Oh, that's not gone well. I think zombies can come from both sides in there. So yeah, that's in there. Shelving, which is done with awnings, which I'm quite happy with. Oh yeah, this is sort of like the side. Come on, pathway through. Once again, it's too wide. It should really only be half the width of it currently, but you know, stuff happened. There's the bridge, which folds down when you turn on power. Talking of, here's power. There's the mystery box. You can look through the chain link fence. There's Juggernog, and yeah, that's proving a bit tricky to mask with a big double wide doorway, which is meant to be there. But yeah, here's the other side. Looking over here, you can see zombies run up to not stamina up, double tap room. And yeah, once again, just decorative things which I'm going to try and just add in there, just add a bit more fancy looking things in there. You can obviously look into this back room, which is not only inaccessible to the player, but it's a major zombie spawn area because there's a window through to the Thompson room, and then obviously the window here, as well as the window in this little walkway, which, yeah, got some sandbags going on there. You can obviously walk around here. Here's speed cola. Can walk around here. There's obviously the stairway up here as well, which leads to this side area where zombies can come from here as well as in here. If we get in, there you go, zombies can come through in here. I think there's a double barrel on the wall right there, as far as I can remember, something like that. And then, yeah, coming in here to the vehicle maintenance bay, I think is what's written above the doorway in the actual map. You've got all of these barrels and tyres and things which exist sort of littering the centre, which you can run around and train around. This is like a weird big furnace-y thing, which I'm going to have to model through this through this window. Box location, mule kick as well, I think, is here in Black Ops 1 onwards. And once again, here's the zombie spawn through, as well as here. As well as there for the zombies, or sorry, for the furnace for the monkey bomb, and then yeah, here's this absolute mess of this area, which you've got this sort of broken out wall, like grating type thing, as well as this short bridge which leads you through to the one of the teleporter rooms, which yeah, I'm gonna have to try and figure out how to do that. Here, once again, double tap, and then yeah, this is kind of just a big old mess, really. I do not know what to do with this because it's all a bit out of proportion, but I can't really change the proportions of anywhere else. So, yeah, kind of a mess. But, you know, here's the walkway where the zombies can come from here, and then normally, you know, this walkway will come through here, and then if you ever notice in Doris when you're playing it, this is a broken out piece of walkway. Broken out stairway, because normally it's like a T-shape stairway. Obviously we can only go up this way because this side's broken, but if you ever did want to go up this side, this is where it leads. It leads you up here. There's an inaccessible doorway. If you go through that doorway, there's this little room which leads you out onto this outside walkway, and it actually connects to this room. So that's how that looping works. But yeah, then the power walkway here, or power bridge rather, which comes down, and then it leads you down to here. You've got this corridor here with the random door that exists. Down here, this end has got a window, as in the actual game, and here is Juggernog behind its chain link fencing. So yeah, Jugs there. Come down here. Barred off window, shelving going on here, which has got one part of the Easter egg song, I think. Box location exists here, I think, as well as this window for zombies to come out of. Once again, this weird walkway area here, and yeah, it just leads you outside to where there is the weird machine that you shoot with a pack-a-punch gun for Samantha Says or whatever it is. I forget the name of it. But yeah, that exists through this window. So yeah, there's that, and then you can come through here, and here's this big turbine leading to these two furnaces, which go on back here, and then we can come all the way up here. Window, broken out bit of wall, and there would be a teleporter here when I figure out how to make it. So yeah, that is the loop of Doris at the moment, and yeah, this weird corridor where zombies can come out of, which I've just modelled here. But yeah, that is the entirety of Doris so far. It's really unfinished, but it's been very challenging and pretty fun figuring out how to do all this. And yeah, it's going. Something is happening with Doris at least. Yeah, it won't be perfect. Won't be a perfect one-to-one because my skill is just not there, especially using vanilla, because I don't want to make people download like 50 billion mods just to have Doris in their game or something. Not that there's probably much demand to put Doris in your game, but in your park at least. But yeah, that is the entirety of CoD Zombies that I've managed to get in Parkitect. So yeah, it's been a long one. There's been quite a bit to talk about and look at. But yeah, that is it for zombies so far. So I will thank you for watching, and goodbye.